Hello, math friends. Today we're going to talk a little bit about functions. It's the fun in math. Super fun. So that's what we're going to talk about. One area of functions is when we have to write equations that correspond to tables. When I'm going to write an equation that corresponds to a table, I'm going to pick a value to deal with. And I usually, just for easiness, if there's a positive, I'm going to pick that one. So if I take a look and I have 2, I have to take my 2, I have to perform some operation and have a 7 come out of my function world. So I might try first by just adding 5, but when I do 2 plus 5, I get my 7. If I go up, I do 1 plus 5, I do not get 4. So that is not going to work. So I'm going to try something different. I might try multiplication. So I think to myself, what can I multiply 2 by to get close to 7? And I might think, well, 2 times 3 is 6, and then I would have to add 1 to get to 7. Let's see if that works here. 1 times, 3 is 3, plus 1 gives me, 4. I try 0 times 3, plus 1 gives me 1. Negative 1 times 3 gives me negative 3 plus 1. Negative 3 plus 1, negative 2. Looks like I'm onto something. Negative 2 times 3 gives me negative 6. Plus 1 gives me negative 5. I love it. Now I just look at what stays the same. Well, I have a times 3. I have a plus 1. That seems to be staying the same. But these are changing, which are my x values, and my answers are changing, which are my y values, and that's what it's equal to. So my equation, x times 3 plus 1 equals my y, but now I'm going to clean it up and write it a little bit fancier and nicer. 3x plus 1 equals y. So I put my coefficient in front of my variable, and that is my equation that corresponds to my table. Now that is fun. It's maybe not fun like eating ice cream, but it's really, really close. All right, here we go. Let's look at some more fun. What I think is even more fun is when we change our y into function notation, like f of x. And I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to start out looking at one of my positive values. Oh, let's look at 2, and look at it's 7 again. Well, let's go back to the same idea. It's increasing. I'm going to try just adding. 2 plus 5 gives me 7. 1 plus 5 gives me 6. Nice. 0 plus 5 gives me 5. This time the addition seems to be working. Negative 1 plus 5 gives me 4. Negative 2 plus 5 gives me 4. I love it. What stays the same? My plus 5. These numbers are changing. They're my x inputs. And the value that I'm getting out is changing. In this case, we're going to call it fancy function notation, f of x. So for every x value that I put in, I'm getting my f of x value out. Fun, 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 math, fun, factory. Let's try one other type of problem. What if you're given the equation in fancy function form? Could you make the table? And I sure hope that we could. I could pick some values to put into my table. I might pick like negative 1. If I fill negative 1 in here, I sometimes when I make these tables, I like to even add another little category here. This is super fancy. I sometimes like to add a work category. And then here's my f of x. Then I can show my work really simply. If I fill in negative 1, 4 times negative 1 minus 8. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. And I'm going to go negative 4 minus 8 is going to give me a negative 12. I might try a 0. 4 times 0 is 0. Fill in my 0 in. Minus 8 is going to give me a negative 8. I might try 1. 4 times 1 minus 8. 4 times 1 is 4. Minus 8 is going to give me a negative 4. Now, creating a table like this, sometimes you are asked to create it. Sometimes they give you options of tables or options of equations. But you should just take what you know and build your own table and then match it up to the one that is correct. All of this is equal to math fun when you can go from one direction to the other. It's all super fabulous functionness. So go for it. Go get your math fun on.